Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well today as we get into the latest. Just a one video today because I have to be honest, earlier on nothing happened until the second part of the day. Everything's happened, so we're going to go through it all because there's actually quite a bit. But before we jump in to the Chelsea latest and what has happened, don't forget to hit the link in the description. Go and check out Shootout, where we do go through a Premier League roundup. So make sure you go and have a look. I'll leave that right here actually. Tomorrow morning there will be a Champions League preview for the English teams, looking out for their form in the entire competition and what to expect from each English team in the Champions League. And there will be a watch along for the Athletic Bilbao Arsenal game. So make sure you are at Shootout to catch me and George react to the game tomorrow against, well, not against, Arsenal playing Athletic Bilbao. Make sure you're there. Now, let's dive right in. And there'll be a double upload here, of course, if things permit and things actually happen and we can discuss things like we can in this video, starting with Emegha. Now, Emegha was the centre of attention this weekend with Strasbourg because the Strasbourg fans were not happy with him, not happy with the Strasbourg management, the Strasbourg chairman, and Bluco. And the fans were kicking off. And specifically for Emegha, demanding that he gives up his armband, throws it back, and that he's a little bit of a traitor because as soon as he's made club captain, he's an important player, then he signs a deal to go to Chelsea. Like I explained yesterday, the plan was always for him to go to Chelsea. He wasn't brought in for Strasbourg. He was brought in for Strasbourg to use temporarily in order to get him ready for Chelsea. But Chelsea were the ones that were always interested in Emegha. You could say Bluco wanted Emegha at Chelsea, but he just wasn't ready. We went through that yesterday. But their fans kicked off, and yeah, Emegha is not feeling the love right now. And as much, and I want to say this, as much as I do understand and I sympathize with Strasbourg on one thing in particular, and that is that their fans, not all, you know, there's the Ultra 90 group who I've had the pleasure of speaking to before, and there are the rest of the fans, right? It's not 100% of the fan base. But the Ultra 90 group and the Strasbourg fan group basically don't want to be part of a multi-club model. They just don't want it. If you talk to them and you go, listen, would you rather get relegated without being owned by a multi-club model, or would you have a multi-club model and compete in Europe? They would tell you, I would rather get relegated and not be in the hands of a multi-club model. You can't argue with that. Right? Fair enough. Because at the end of the day, if I had my way deep down, yeah, then I wouldn't want multi-club models anywhere. I think let each club be owned individually and let them get on with it. Right? Like it used to be. Truth of the matter is, the world has moved in a direction where multi-club models have now become a thing. Multi-club ownerships are increasing. Why? Because financially, it makes sense. Financially, in the state of FFP and having to save on costs and having to do all of this, it's beneficial for bigger clubs to use slightly smaller clubs in order to generate talent, develop players, and allow somewhere to send players that are not quite ready that you think are going to be ready. As well as that, financially, players that you can turn over and make profits on. When you turn to FFP, that helps you. This is why we have other teams now shifting to the multi-club ownership model. Man City do it. Man United, ironically, with Ineos, are part of one too. Chelsea are definitely in. I mean, we've kind of set the tempo with it, really. There are clubs moving in that direction. Strasbourg fans, Ultra 90, Ultra Boys 90, they're just like, no. Like I said, I'd rather get relegated. So when you talk about Emegha and this whole scenario with him going to Chelsea, they were just like, no, you're a traitor, basically. But the truth of the matter is, in this, like I've said, Emegha was always meant for Strasbourg. Like I said yesterday, when their goalkeeper was sold just to make way for someone like Petrovic, who was sent from Chelsea, that I can sympathise with. Because that goalkeeper was their club captain and someone that was at Strasbourg for a very long time. You know, imagine Chelsea having to sell Petr Cech because we're going to bring in someone just to help develop for another club. Yeah, I'd be peed off. Do you know what I mean? That's only fair. But Emegha was never that guy. That's the whole point here. So there's a lot of people that think it's black or white. There's a lot of grey in between. Don't ignore that grey. A lot of the facts are actually based within that grey. It's not one extreme or the other. So let's see what Chelsea are now going to do for Emegha, since he didn't get so much love from Strasbourg this weekend. Well, here's latest. Chelsea will decide in the next months whether they want to bring Emegha into the squad in January or next summer, with both being possibilities. Juventus were one of the clubs interested, as well as Aston Villa and Bayern Munich early on. He's had a really, really good start at Strasbourg, to be fair. Well, not start. He's been there for about a couple of years now. He's been class. And I actually got a feeling Chelsea are going to bring him in January. If possible, Chelsea will bring him in January, I reckon. And then try and get Margue on a loan from January onwards. Because Liam Delap will be back by that point. But then I think from that point onwards, it would be beneficial heading into the rest of the season where legs might start to go and you do want more options. I think Chelsea would more than want someone else to be there as an extra striker as well, just in case. If we do make it into the knockout stages of the Champions League, we got the cup competitions. I think at that point, Chelsea would want to utilise Emegha as well. Liam Delap, Emegha and João Pedro to even maybe rotate within the number 10 position or slightly on that left-hand side too, to provide himself as another option. I think that's where Maresca will have to really try and think about rotating and managing minutes so no one gets injured. That's going to come at the second half of the season. We'll wait and see. But do you think Emegha will make his way in Jan? Let me know down below. I think he will. Let me know what you think. Caicedo. This is one thing about the model that's been at Chelsea. When talking about the wage structure and all of this, and I think many of us, me included, were looking at the established players, and you do want the established players, you just do, but you know they come with high salaries because they do deserve those high salaries. But the model here at Chelsea has been, okay, look, we're going to start on something, but if you smash it, then we're going to renegotiate. And I'll be honest, when I first heard that, I was like, is that just a ploy to get them through the door, just to make it seem like they've got something to play for? That my honest opinion at that point was, that's what it is. You'll sign someone, you'll give them 100k a week, and then that's it, you'll just leave them on that. Even if they're playing good, you're like, yeah, we've tied you down for 8 years. There's no point renegotiating. But to be fair, they got Cole Palmer with a higher salary. They've done it to Cucurella. Well, guess who's next? Here it is. Chelsea want to negotiate an advance on new contract for Moises Caicedo. Chelsea want to give him what he deserves to avoid potential problems with other clubs in the next years. And that is absolutely deserved, without question. Caicedo has been a machine, especially lately. Back end of last season, this season, the guy has just turned into an absolute monster. So he absolutely deserves a new contract, a higher salary. And if this is the standard that's being set at the club from within, that if you were to play like these guys are, like Palmer has, like Cucurella is, like Caicedo is, you will fall into the same bracket and you will get higher salaries. If that is how things are actually running, then it's fair enough. Everyone's just got to prove themselves. And I think that's an incentive to help players get better. And if you do prove it, then great, congratulations, you get a new contract. I think that's brilliant. So fair play. I was skeptical of that actually being the case at first. Turns out that is actually what's happening, then fair enough. I'm all for it. So respect, and Caicedo, congratulations. Get that new contract signed, sealed and delivered, please, because you are not going anywhere, my friend. Now, Fabrizio's come out with something I found a little bit bizarre. And this is what I think a few people wanted to hear before, but now it's happening now. Many of us actually feel like we might have a solution for the time that they want to do this for. You're probably thinking, what is he on about? Well, let me show you. Here it is. Chelsea plans for 2026. I'm told Chelsea are looking at several opportunities, for example, at centre-back. If there's a young player with some good quality, then for Chelsea, it's always time for a good opportunity. Currently tracking many talents, especially from abroad. This is where, look, if we were going for a centre-back and we went in for someone established, then fair enough. But we didn't. And we didn't because we were also told about Mamadou Sarr and Anselmino, who are both on loan now and developing. The plan is for 2026 for one of them to step in anyway, so why do we need a centre-back? You could argue we need a centre-back for now. But for next season, well, no, we're good. Especially with the way Anselmino is playing and Mamadou Sarr is doing all right. Then I think we're sorted. I don't think we actually need to go in for a centre-back if we're talking about 2026. Do you know what I mean? Because Levi Cole will be back by that point as well. We're good. We're covered. Anselmino might actually be that guy to walk into the squad and actually set an example. So let's wait and see. But if it was for this past window, I'd understand. If it's for next year, I don't understand. So now, there is one point. The one point is we've got to flip some players. And why? Because money still needs to be made. For as long as we haven't moved stadium or started work on stadium and we are not getting more revenue, then we need to resort to this. Why? Because Chelsea have that settlement with UEFA for 3 years, not just 1 year, 3 years. Which means that next summer and the summer after, we need to balance the books correctly. After that, we might be good to go, which is also why I'm stressing, let's go and get a new stadium built. Because if we get a new stadium built, that can go in adjacent to the settlement. And once the settlement is done, and we're basically free of the shackles, well, work on new stadium might also be nearly completed. We'd be good to go. So we got to hurry up on this whole stadium stuff. We got to hurry up, especially if it's Earls Court, because there's not long left. December is the go-ahead, as far as I know, for Earls Court. So we got to get a move on. So let's see. Or we're going to redevelop Stamford Bridge. Well, great. If we're going to do that, great. But let's get a move on. So let's see. Now, let me know your thoughts on that one. Do you want a centre-back for 2026? Let me know. Fabrizio also went in about Fermin Lopez. And this... do I agree with it? Do I not agree with it? Let's read it and let's see. Chelsea offered 40 million euros to sign Fermin Lopez. That money was never going to be enough to convince Barcelona. From what I'm told, Chelsea sent that bid even though they knew that deal was almost impossible, because they really wanted to make the player feel that their interest is concrete. They really believe Fermin would be perfect for what they're building at Chelsea. That doesn't make any sense. For me, it doesn't make any sense. If they really believe Fermin would be perfect for what we are building at Chelsea, then buy him. Do you know what I mean? You give Barca the money that you think is going to make it happen. If you know 40 million is not going to work on deadline day, then what's the point? Do you know what I mean? You should give them something to think about. Because it's deadline day, they might go, okay, you know what? Maybe we accept this one. Maybe we negotiate. Maybe we entertain it. But you don't go in lowballing thinking, we just want to let you know we want you, by the way. Because what's that going to do if we really believe that he would be perfect for what we're building? Unless the aim is to get him in later. And for now, we're not that bothered. And we just want to let him know, by the way, we like you. So then next summer, we might go in for him. But is that the plan? I don't know. This is why I said I don't know. Do I agree? Do I not agree with it? I don't know what it is. I don't know what do Chelsea want here from Fermin Lopez. Do we want him now or do we want him later? Do we believe in him now? Do we believe in him later? What is the score here? I don't know. But 40 million was never going to get him done. I agree. So, but then again, there's the whole thing about us not really spending money in that position anyway. Because we didn't get Xavi Simons. We eventually got Buonanotte on a loan. So it's like we needed someone in that position, but we weren't willing to spend the money. But then we did put in a bid for Fermin Lopez, but it's now telling us that, we knew it'd get rejected. So did we really want him for now then? I get the impression like Chelsea just were not willing to spend the money that was needed. Because we can't. I've just got a feeling we're restricted. For as long as Nico Jackson was not sold, we were restricted. That's how I feel here. So, but you have to ask, okay, what if Barcelona were crazy and just went, okay, 40 million, okay, cool, accepted. Then do Chelsea actually go ahead with it and let 40 million go? Like, can we afford that? I don't know. This is the thing, no one actually has the complete clarity on what is the situation here. Because for £10 million more, we could have got Xavi Simons. This is what I don't get. And then we resorted to a loan for Buonanotte. That tells me we ain't got money. I don't know. It's a weird one. It's a very, very weird one. Anyway, what's your theory? Let me know down below. I'd love to hear. Now, some things that we're going to be speaking about on Shootout, for sure. Like I said, link in the description. Make sure you're there. And by the way, the Bayern Munich Chelsea watch along will be on Wednesday on Shootout, and that is going to cook on a level that I don't say this lightly. Not many watch alongs are going to be able to pull off what we're going to pull off on Wednesday. You already got a glimpse of what that could be like with the Brentford game, and that was Brentford. Bayern Munich, Champions League, the place is going to be rammed. We're going to have a better camera angle as well, and no technical issues. We're going to be certain of that because we already know what the problem was with the sound, and I've got that sorted. It's going to be raucous on Wednesday night, so make sure you're watching the watch along there. Bayern Munich, Chelsea, that's going to be mental. Arsenal tomorrow on here as well, so make sure you're here for that too. But Man United are one of the things that we speak about on Shootout, and we did so earlier on, and we will continue to do that for as long as Ruben Amorim looks like he's going to get the sack. Now, it's looking more and more likely, and why? Here it is. The Man United dressing room are losing confidence in Amorim's system. There is a growing crisis at Old Trafford, says Chris Wheeler. Chris Wheeler goes into more detail here. United back boss, but some players are losing faith. Still uncomfortable in the 3-4-2-1 system. Amorim refusing to compromise. Full pre-season and £236 million spend not working. Rooney says his old club is going backwards. I mean, when you got Wayne Rooney coming out and telling you that, you know it's a problem. Basically, at that point. Amorim's not helping himself here. Like I've said, Manchester United is a mess. If you remember when he was hired, what did I say? Amorim cannot fix this by himself. The problem is not Amorim here. The problem is Manchester United as an institution. They need to bring everything down and start again. They have to. Institutionally, it's a mess. And it's not me saying that. It's many people from inside, including the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo himself. It's the state of the stadium that you can see that looks abandoned. It's the environment that you know that they're coming into to work in. It's the countless managers and players that they've had that just cannot get it going. But the moment every single one leaves, they blow up elsewhere. What does that tell you? United's the problem. But Amorim isn't helping himself. I will say this, because in that position as a manager, you've got to try and find a solution, brother. And if you're not showing that you're actually trying various different things, you're not going to get any sympathy. Because you're willing to die on a sword that is just not working. It's just not working. You know? He's so adamant, because the one thing that you can try and change instantly is a system, is your tactics. That's the one thing that you can try now. You can't go into the window and shift 10 players and bring in 10 new players. You can't do it. You can't even institutionally, as Manchester United, as a football club, you can't just start fixing everything overnight. Oh, United's now great, fixed. The roof at Old Trafford's fixed. The toilet's fixed. The canteen's fixed. The gym equipment's fixed. The people are fixed. The boardroom is better. The decisions are better. Everything's fixed overnight. No, there's so much mess at United. It's going to take ages. This is why yesterday I said minimum 2 years. Minimum. To even begin to see something from that football club. But Amorim, on the pitch, you can see just with his own system, there's players at his disposal that cannot execute what he's trying to do. They just can't do it. Whether they can't do it or they're choosing not to do it. Whatever one it is, I believe it's a mix of both. I believe there are players there that are just not good enough. And I believe there's players that are just not bothered. I think when you're looking at players that are just not good enough, I'll give you one example. Did you see the way that Luke Shaw got skinned by Haaland yesterday? That's not something Amorim can control. You can't control that. You can't get Amorim to fix that. You can try and coach him and tell him where his positioning needs to be, where he needs to be, where he needs to anticipate the move coming from. But you can't just get him to become the best left back in the country instantly. It's not going to happen. And we know that's not going to happen. But there are other players that are hindered. And I've got to be real here. Someone like Bruno Fernandes, I think he's just completely hindered. And I think even him, like deep down, he's just not enjoying football. Because Ruben Amorim is not willing to change anything here. He's not showing any experimentation or any solution making, any solution finding, should I say. Nothing. He's just willing to die on this philosophy. That's it. And if you do that, you're finished. You're finished. You're finished. Because like Thomas Tuchel once said, if you are so bothered about the long term, you cannot see the short term, then you're going to get cooked. There's not going to be a long term. His words, there is no long term without the short term. So you've got to try and find something to click now, my friend, and then work with it. But we've got managers now that are just like, no, my philosophy, it must work, it must stand. That's not how life works. You can't take that and expect it to work in every single country, in every single scenario. That's just not how it works, especially in football. When you've got a different bunch of players, a different environment to work in, a different magnitude, a different set of circumstances, a different climate, a different way of thinking, different languages, different personalities, that there's so much taken into consideration to make a system work that you can't just rely on your philosophy and that's it. And Amorim looks like he's actually just doing that. I think that's ridiculous on his part. I've got to be honest. But I guarantee if he's sacked and they bring someone else in, you're not going to see a major difference either. You might see bits and pieces different, for the positive, but overall, United are cooked. United are cooked. So let's wait and see. What I will say is it best for Man United to turn into the direction of someone like Areola? Someone like Oliver Glasner, someone that has a point to prove in their career and I think is flexible? Maybe that might work for them. Maybe. And this is what I'm saying. The direction of football is going in another direction now. We are no longer in the days where your CV speaks for itself. It's about what your ideas are right now. That counts more than your CV now. Whereas before, no chance. Like, what have you won? Now, it's not about what have you won. It's what does your idea hold that makes me believe that we're going to win with you. That's where football's gone. So maybe Glasner or Areola could be the answer for Man United. Let's wait and see. Now, talking about Man United, what was this brother thinking? Man City have sacked a bar worker who turned up for the Manchester derby on Sunday wearing a United shirt. I mean, this is just hilarious, isn't it? I get on one point, whoever snitched him up, right, has cost him his job. But at the end of the day, I gotta be honest, you are hired by Manchester City. You're a Manchester United fan. You work at the Etihad and you show up with a Man United shirt. Are you a clown? Like, that's the equivalent of me being hired by Tottenham to go and work the bar at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and then I unzip my fleece and I show that I'm wearing a Chelsea shirt. That's just me looking for trouble. Why would you do that? You are at work, you're hired by that club, act professional in that capacity. It's as simple as that. Once your capacity is done and you go home, you can wear all the United gear in the world. But to rock up there with a United shirt and to flaunt it to Man City fans that are buying booze from you, you are asking for World War V, my friend. You know, so I can't sympathize here with the guy. I can't. I get, like, do you really publicize it and try and get someone sacked? No. Because this went over social media, but this guy hasn't helped himself one bit. What were you thinking? Come on, man. This isn't just banter. You're working. If you're working, be professional. It's as simple as that, man. There's this way of thinking is diminished from society, I've got to be honest. You know, holding your job to a standard and what you do to a standard, no matter what it is. You could have the so-called lowest job in the world, but you show up and you put your all in and you get it done and you earn your money and you sweat for it and you're proud of it. That element of professionalism and being able to show up for your vocation, for what you do, is diminished. People take their job so lightly just because they just want a paycheck. That's it. This gets me a bit of cash, so I'm just going to show up and I'm not going to care. It's not a nice way of thinking at all. Lack of responsibilities, I'm afraid. Anyway, that's that. Let me know your thoughts on that. I'd love to know. And to end, let's end on some banter. Talking about responsibilities, Sheffield United, what are you doing? Chris Wilder has returned to Bramall Lane. He has signed a contract until the summer of 2027 to kick off a third spell as Sheffield United manager. That is just unbelievable, isn't it? What are you lot thinking? Do you know what I think? Let me show you. So he was hired in May 2016. This is facts, by the way. Sacked in March 2021. He was rehired December 2023. Sacked in June, that just went past 2 months ago. He's now been rehired in September. 2 months later. What's next? Sacked in November, hired December, sacked February, hired in March, sacked in March, hired in March, sacked in March, hired in April, sacked in April, hired in April, sacked in April, hired in April, sacked in April. Maybe he gets hired and fired every 2 days. What are you doing? We all remember what Sheffield United looked under Chris Wilder towards the end there. Why? Other managers exist, guys. Like, just to let you know, in case like you've tried to do some scoping and you've tried to see, but which manager can we get? Like, Chris Wilder isn't the only manager in the world. Just in case you don't know. I don't know if maybe you've searched and all you found was Chris Wilder. You've gone, oh, maybe that's all we can get. Like, no, other coaches exist. Just newsflash. Just to let you know. Don't know what these lot are expecting, honestly. Chris Wilder, he's a Sheffield United fan. He played for Sheffield United. He's proper Sheffield United, yeah? Like proper Chelsea, proper Sheffield United, yeah? He's not going to turn it down, especially he's probably getting paid more. Mate, he just got sacked and now he's getting rehired. He's probably going to get more money. Mate, this guy's living. This guy is living. But it's not going to last long. It's not going to last long at all. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. 2 months. If it's like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, okay, maybe there's an element there that you think it's best if we go back. Cool, I understand that. I understand that specifically. We went and got Jose back. I've been there and done that, don't get me wrong. But to go for a third stint so soon after you sacked him 2 months ago to get him back now, you're mental. Anyway, let's see. Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. And I'll catch all of you tomorrow for a brand new couple, if there is going to be any. And shootout for Champions League preview for the English teams as well as the watch along. So make sure you're there. I'll catch all of you soon. Have a good one. Look after yourselves. Take care and peace.